CJ had a shot at the buzzer to win. Yeah. And he took it and he missed. And PG was like, I gotta have that shot. You remember that? Like,
he said it in a press conference.
Yeah, I gotta have that shot. No bullshit. Game 4, the same exact shit happened. They threw it to CJ. That nigga CJ fired that bitch to PG and he missed it. Right? He had like the side of the backboard. Tough ass shot.
Yeah.
Not even gonna come close. Get in the locker room. Nigga CJ, he did me like this. It was the Gatorade commercial.
No OT tonight.
George for the tie!
Ball game.
George, way off. Hits the side of the backboard.
Ball game.
Freaking Maxey, nothing there. George looking to turn the corner. He gets ripped.
Ball game.
For NBA players like Ben Simmons and Zion, their careers were so short-lived that they never reached any of their potential or success. But for a player like Paul George, it's disappointing when they lose what they once were. Yeah, he's gotten older, but he still has so much more he could give, and he's being paid like it with a $212 million contract. This is the same guy who snapped his leg in half and came back better than ever. He was an MVP candidate in OKC, and even though he wanted to go to LA, he was inspired by Russell Westbrook and agreed to stay, until Kawhi convinced him to be traded. The player we saw before the NBA bubble completely changed and came back as someone else.
I don't know you anymore.
He's never had great playoff success, but it's gotten to the point where it's questionable if he really even cares about basketball anymore. He's made sure to demand the most money possible while struggling to stay healthy, and even when he is, he's completely fallen off. He's averaging his lowest points on worst shooting splits since his second season in the NBA. This was his response last playoffs when his team went down in the series against the Mavs.
I think the beauty of it is the older I've gotten, the less pressure it's been, honestly. You work your tail off all summer. You train for these moments to where if you fail, you fail.
What?
That's the exact opposite approach to what a player should have. The most pressure is in the moment because if you don't achieve your goal, all of your hard work was for nothing. After leaving the Clippers, he called them hard to play for because they felt like the B team. But then he criticized the fans for booing him when he played against them. What did he expect? This is the team that gave up Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and a ton of picks to bring you in. Of course they're going to be upset when you leave and say bad things about playing for their team. And PG used to embrace the boos from his former teams. This season, he has more podcast episodes than games played. He even clickbaited his own team's private meeting. And after playing a horrible game while getting blown out by 30 to the Cavs, he hopped on the podcast to talk about when Cleveland won their last championship.
LeBron with the block, Kai with the shot over Steph Curry.
You're reminiscing a different team's championship in the middle of the season after they just beat you?
Why are you the way that you are?
This isn't the elite two-way superstar Paul George. This is a player who no longer cares about winning or being the best player he can be, despite telling us year after year that things are going to be different. He only cares about collecting his paycheck and his podcast. The 76ers made a huge mistake paying him as much as they did.
So Podcast P, I want to pull this up before I say it. This season, 10 games played, 16 podcast episodes, salary $49 million.